This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Scott Howell.
Hello, good neighbors, and welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast, brought to you by the Friends and Neighbors Group of the Greater Chattanooga area. Of course, as the announcer told you, my name is Scott Howell, and I'm your host for today. And a lot of people ask us, what is the purpose of the Good Neighbor Podcast? Our name isn't exactly explanatory, so just to let you know, it is to bring awareness to the residents who live in our communities regarding locally owned and or operated businesses in the greater Chattanooga area, as I like to say, from Cleveland to Dalton, from Jasper to Benton, just all over this great region of ours, beautiful place that we live. Small local businesses are the backbone of our communities, and they really need our support. And what we're all about here is that every local business has a story to tell, and we just want to help them to tell it loud and proud. And joining me today is our good neighbor, Bryttany Ditmar at Family Heritage. And Bryttany, we are so happy to have you as our special guest today on the Good Neighbor Podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, before we dive into talking about Family Heritage, what you do and what you offer, I'd just like to give you an opportunity to tell a little bit about yourself and your family, whatever you'd like to tell people about.
Okay, yeah. So I am originally from South Carolina. I grew up there. I moved to Chattanooga about 4.5 years ago. I have some family in Trenton, Georgia. And when I would come visit, I always liked Chattanooga. Decided I'd want something a little bit different. I was getting a little tired of South Carolina, to be honest. So Chattanooga is beautiful. It's an outdoorsy city, and I fit right in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're glad to have you. Glad you moved here, and I'm sure all your friends and family and clients that live around this area are very happy too. And so I just like to go ahead and dive in because I want you to have plenty of time to tell us about Family Heritage and your journey into the business and with the company. And so just explain all that to us now, Brittany.
Yeah. So I actually was in the dental field before switching over to Family Heritage. I was in that for about 11 years. I started real young, right out of high school, went to school for dental assisting and hygiene. Worked in pediatric dentistry for about 9.5 years. I liked it a lot. The kids were fun, but it was exhausting. So I spent a little more time working in other fields of dentistry, and then at that point I decided I needed something that was going to give me more potential and growth. And my friends would tell me, you need to look into sales, like sales position. You have the personality for sales. And I honestly didn't know a whole lot about sales other than the negative stories that people tell you about sales. Yeah. So when they told me that, I was like, oh God, no, I can't do that. Like, I don't know if I'm cut out for that, but I was open-minded and was just looking for options and applying to different places. And I learned about Family Heritage and what they offered. And after that, I was like, hey, this is it. I can actually be passionate about this because of some experiences that I went through when I was younger. Actually, it was my parents that went through it and some other family members that didn't know that there was something like this out there that could help them when going through something serious medically and financially.
Yeah. Do you care to share some of those stories?
Yeah. So basically, with Family Heritage, what I specialize in is refundable supplemental health insurance. The supplemental health insurance that I focus on is heart attack, stroke, heart disease, cancer diagnoses, and accidental injuries, ICU, hospital stay, that kind of stuff. Okay. And it's designed to deposit cash into your personal checking account whenever going through these scenarios. So you're already having to go get these treatments. Yes. So this just provides you with a way to get paid for it, because our regular health insurance, our major medical, and I'll just use Blue Cross Blue Shield, for example. Most people are familiar with that. What that's designed to do is kick in and pay your doctors, your hospital charges, medical charges, all of that. Meanwhile, Family Heritage is designed to deposit cash in your personal checking account. So a lot of people feel like they have good insurance and we're protected, and you are to a certain extent, but your Blue Cross Blue Shield is not going to pay for your mortgage if
Yes.
something bad brings you down. So that's kind of what I experienced at a young age. My stepdad was the breadwinner of the family. He owned a small heating and air company. He did the majority of his work. He would maybe subcontract here and there if he had bigger jobs, but he was a one-man show pretty much.
Yeah.
And he had a stroke one morning. My mom heard him collapse on the back porch, and she ran out there, got him, called an ambulance. They rushed him to the hospital. They misdiagnosed him with vertigo and sent him home.
Oh, no.
And when getting out of the car again, he had another stroke.
Oh, my goodness.
So then they were rushed back to the hospital. He was hospitalized for 3 months. So a lot of business owners, it's a nice even mixture, but from what I've learned so far, there's a lot of business owners that don't even have major medical, kind of like my stepdad, where they just do cash pay when needed, because nobody's expecting a stroke or a heart attack to happen.
Sure, right.
Especially my family, we weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
So that was 3 months of him not having any income coming in. So the savings and the income that he had up to that point, it was gone really, really quick.
Yeah.
And my mom was also working, but her full-time job was not enough to keep the regular day-to-day bills paid for.
Yeah.
And she's also not working full-time because she wants to be by his side in the hospital.
Sure, yeah.
So that is what my experience was, seeing what they went through in that. And then when I learned about a product that actually deposits cash into your account when going through something like this, I immediately thought, oh my gosh, this is something I wish my family would have known about.
Yeah.
My uncle had his heart attacks in his 40s. He survived, but he went about 4 years worth of being in and out of the hospital before he passed away.
Oh, wow.
He had to sell everything and move in with my grandparents in order for them to take care of him. And they were so financially drained by the time that he passed away that they couldn't afford to bury him.
Oh, my goodness.
So there's just a lot of people out there that aren't aware of this product. They don't realize the importance of it. And I passionately believe that this is a product that is for anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter your age, your financial status. It is something that is going to pay you when something unexpected and unfortunate happens.
That sounds amazing, Brittany. And you're right. So many, people that are just, you're talking about the one-man show that's out there working every day. We have an impression that we can't afford insurance. We can't afford that coverage, because if you get group insurance through your employer, it's typically cheaper than it is buying, for just an individual buying for their family. And the Affordable Health Care Act that was supposed to provide everyone insurance is nothing but unaffordable. I mean, unless you're really poverty stricken, and no slam against anybody that is, but unless your income is super low, it's just not affordable. I priced it myself, one time when it first came out, and so I believe a lot of people are in that position where they don't have anything. But even if you do, like you said, you're not insuring your income.
And you also have deductibles.
Oh, yes.
At all different rates. I have met people with a deductible of $1,500 all the way up to $13,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those deductibles still have to be met, and a lot of people don't meet those every year because they are healthy. I have a friend who broke her leg just by stepping wrong. She just took her one step wrong, broke both bones in her leg. She was put on bed rest for 3 months, and she had a $6,000 deductible that she had to meet while being on bed rest.
Wow.
So
we raise those deductibles up because we think, well, that makes it more affordable. Because, but like you said, even though we buy insurance, we're never planning on using it. Nobody ever plans on using their insurance.
Yeah. It's called major medical because we hope to only use it for major medical things. So, and speaking on affordability, these policies, They're so affordable. There's so many different levels of coverage at affordable rates so that any salary can have coverage.
Okay. Well, and can I hone in on something you said earlier? You
Mhm.
said refundable, and
Yes.
so could you talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah. So in the state of Tennessee, the way these policies work, anybody that is 55 and under, they qualify for a refundable policy, meaning every monthly payment that they put into this policy, they will get back at 100% if they never have to use it. So
Oh,
I
okay.
have the heart policy because I um I also lost a brother to a heart attack as well. He
Oh,
was
I'm
only
sorry.
41.
I'm so sorry.
And I've had high cholesterol since I was 12. So heart stuff is obviously something that I definitely need to protect myself on just with the
Yeah.
family history. But I signed up for this heart policy and knowing I might not follow in their footsteps. I might get lucky and I might be able to stay healthy and never experience that. And at
Yeah.
least I know that every monthly payment that I put into this policy isn't money out the window. I'm going to actually get all of that back if I need it, if I don't need it. But let's say I do end up experiencing some type of heart related issue, but it's minor. I don't have to be hospitalized or have a lot of treatments, and I just
Yeah.
file a small claim. I'm still getting the difference of my money back that wasn't used.
Okay. Now,
So
does that
either
mean?
way, the money comes back to you. It just looks different for everybody. We hope that you're one of the ones that never have to use it and just stay
Right.
healthy. Now, back to the age bracket. So anyone that is 56 and above, they still qualify for the policy. They just have cheaper rates, which is nice.
Yeah.
And they have a policy that actually gets better every year. So for the first 10 years that that policy is in place, their payout is going to increase every single year, but their monthly rate is still staying the same as when they signed up. So
Okay.
they have an actual growing policy that gets better.
Okay. I'm glad you said that because that was going to be my next question to you was what about if you're over 55? So thanks for
Hmm.
explaining that to us. Yeah. Uh, so on if you're over 55, your policy gets better, but you don't get any cash back. Basically, the way the law set it up, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
You've got a
Yeah.
better rate and a better policy. It's just not refundable.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. All right. Well, thank you for sharing all that with us. That's it's great to know that there's things out there like that for to protect us. I know there's companies that sell disability plans, but a lot of
Hmm.
times even those you still have a waiting period that
Yes.
you have to wait before it kicks in. So
Hmm.
these are a lot of good things to think about. I'm glad you come on with us today, Brittany, because people really, all of us, we really need to understand. It doesn't matter how good our insurance is. It doesn't matter how many disability plans. If we have a disability plan in place and we've got all this thing, what about our income?
Right.
And somebody said, "Oh, I've got plenty of savings," but like you said, all of a sudden, your mother and your stepdad's savings were gone
Gone.
because there's something that you didn't plan for.
Right.
There's so many things when somebody's hospitalized, and like you said, your mother wanted to be there with him, right? So not only is
Hmm.
his income gone, her income is cut down. They're while they're there, she's got to eat.
Yep.
She's got to be able to eat. She's got to be able to take care of herself. While the hospital's taking care of her husband, there's extra expenses in gasoline going back and forth. There's the
Yes.
deductibles that are now having to be met. There's things that the insurance don't cover. Seem like I'm always getting a bill from a doctor saying the
Oh, I
insurance
know.
didn't cover this, and
Yep.
even though I paid the copay,
Uh-huh.
there's so many things that are going on, and we don't really consider how fast it could deplete our savings. And
Yes.
then we've got our mortgages, like you said, all these things that we've got our savings for, thinking, oh, I want to have 6 months in reserves in case something happens. But we don't think about everything that could happen.
I have
These
so
plans
many
could help with that.
stories. I've met so many people through doing this, and I've just got so many stories that put everything in a different perspective. My uncle, for example, he was in Kentucky. He was a truck driver, so he was in Kentucky, and the hospital called us and was like, "He's not going to make it. Y'all need to get up here." And going back to what you were talking about with food and
Yeah.
transportation, we had to leave South Carolina immediately, drive all the way up to Kentucky. We didn't know how long we were going to be there. We ended up staying per week, but that was hotel stay and gas and
Yes.
food. These policies will pay out towards plane tickets and gas and hotel stay.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes. And it's
Wow.
just cash that's directly deposited into your personal checking account. And then that money is there for you to use however you see fit for your situation. So there's no one dictating on what you spend this money on. That's just how we know how to pay you because you've already gone through this. This is what we're going to send you.
Brittany, how do you typically just reach out to people to to talk to them about this? What I know I'm going to in a moment I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell them how to contact you. But I'm asking you, how do you decide who to contact when you're trying to reach out and share your coverages?
I like to work with businesses because when I'm working with businesses, there's multiple families in one business for
Yes.
me to be
Okay.
able to protect. But I don't just work with businesses. I work with individuals as well. A lot of times they're based off of referrals from people that I've met that were employees working at that business. I go to a lot of networking events and I
Yeah.
just introduce myself to people, explain what it is, and sometimes I'll set up like coffee or lunch meetings so that I can kind of explain more to them. And when I meet with people, I'll sit down and actually ask, certain questions to find out about medical history. And that just helps me point me in the right direction on the best recommendation for them. Because the accident policy might be more concerning to a younger person who feels healthy and, you know,
Right.
unstoppable.
Right. Yeah.
But
Invincible. Right.
then, right, exactly. But then I'll meet some people that are like, yeah, my mom's going through cancer right now, and my aunt had cancer, my grandfather. So then I'm like, okay, well, the cancer policy is probably really smart for us to look at.
Yeah.
And so I'll set up meetings and explain it to them. If it's something they're interested in, I can actually get them covered within 5 to 10 minutes.
So when you mentioned working with businesses and multiple families
hmm
being involved, do y'all offer payroll deduction?
We do. Yeah, we do
Okay.
offer payroll deduction, and I also offer individual policies. Now, with us doing like payroll, the rates, we don't have group rates. It's going
Right.
to be the same rate regardless, and it's
Okay.
based off of your age or the employee's age. A lot of business owners have actually been liking the other option that I have as individual policies because the rates aren't going to change. When we do payroll deduction, it kind of turns into extra work for the either the manager or the
Okay.
business owner.
Yeah.
So I'm able to offer to come in and set each employee up on the policy to where
Okay.
they're paying for it out of their personal checking account. Now, if this is a business that wants to pay for it for each employee, then they just reimburse them on their paycheck. Then
Okay.
that gives the employee the opportunity to have that money directly deposited into their bank account. They're able to take that policy with them wherever they go. They don't have to run the risk of losing it. A lot of business owners like the fact that it's refundable. So if they're contributing to this policy for them,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like they're contributing to a savings account for them at the same time too, because that money will go back to the employee at that refundable time frame.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Brittany, I know there's so many positives that you've talked about, but like you said, when we first started the conversation, there's a lot of negatives in people's mind regarding insurance in general,
Oh yeah.
right? So, what
Yeah.
type of myths and misconceptions do you run into that people have about what you offer, maybe that you help them dispel?
A lot of people think, oh, I've already got, life insurance. And I explain this is not life insurance. The difference is that life insurance pays out if you pass away. This is designed to pay you while you're alive and recovering and trying to figure out how to pay your bills.
Okay.
And then some people get it confused with like major medical. And again, like I said before, your major medical, it kicks in and it pays your doctors and your hospitals. It's designed to keep your doctors in business and the hospitals in business. And I always say that this policy pays you directly, so it's technically designed to keep you in business, keep your bills paid.
Okay. All
hmm
right. Yeah, thanks for explaining that. One of the questions I was going to ask you, I like to ask a lot of times because I like for us to be relatable to folks, right? But you've already answered it. I was going to ask you about, maybe some things, challenges and hardships that you've had in life that brought you to be a better person or stronger in business. But really, you've kind of told us already about your stepdad and what you saw your family go through and those
Hmm.
type of things. And that brought you to where you are now in this career, able to relate to other people's problems and things they go through. So, uh, but I do want to ask you one personal question.
Hmm.
Because here you are in Chattanooga, you said you love it here. So when you're not helping families, what do you like to do for fun, Brittany?
Oh my gosh, there's so many different types of things that I like. I like to be by water,
Hey,
number
yeah.
one, whether it's a pool or a river or a lake or a beach. If I'm by water, I'm happy. Um, I love to work out, go to the gym. I'm very social. I have a lot of friends. I love spending time with my friends as much as possible. I enjoy any new experience. So it's kind of all over the board.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to get dressed up and go out with friends and have dinner. And I've been invited to play rugby, and I went and tried out for rugby. But I I did score in my first tryout.
Hey,
But at that
congratulations.
time, I realized I haven't been tackled yet, so I think I'm going to call it. I think I'm done.
Yeah, rugby don't have the protective equipment, does it? You get
But,
tackled, you just go get ground into the dirt.
I mean, I'll be filing a lot of accidental injury claims on that one. I
Oh
want to
my
get my
goodness.
money back. I don't want to have to get paid on an injury.
Oh, that is funny. Yeah. I've never tried out for rugby, but I don't think I'm game for it either.
Yeah,
Uh,
I gave it a try. I was like, well, who knows? We'll see.
Somebody asked me why I didn't box. I said because I don't like getting hit. That's why. I don't like getting hit at all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of afterwards. I was like, I am a girly girl, even though I like to work out, but I want to get my nails done. I don't want to get tackled. I think now is a safe time for me to call it quits.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with being a girly girl and working out. That's for
Right.
sure. Because I don't. I think that's a big misconception that people have there is that just because a lady works out wants to be toned or muscular or whatever that she's not a girl. But so there's definitely nothing wrong with that. That's for sure.
Uh-huh.
Well, I want to ask this question because this is something that I feel like is important for everybody to hear. And I want you to just think about your answer, just speak from your heart. But if there was one thing that you would wish the listeners could know about Bryttany Ditmar and her venture, at Family Heritage, but
Hmm.
they probably wouldn't know unless you shared it with them, and you'd like to say it loud and proud here today. What would that be?
Well, it's kind of what I said in the beginning that I realized that this job is a passion for me. Being able to help people, also being able to build relationships. I'm able to be there for people during hard times because I give them my cell phone number. If something bad happens, you can call me or text me. I'm going to help you through that and make sure that you're not in my family's position to where they didn't have any extra finances to help them. But then again, I also like the fact that I'll be there during the good times where you've stayed healthy. And hey, guess what? I have a $20,000 check for you from all the insurance you
Oh
paid for
wow,
and never used. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's
And the
nice.
one thing I did forget to mention is that just because you're getting your money back doesn't mean that you lose the coverage. The coverage, it follows you for life.
Oh really? Even though you
Mm-hmm.
get a refund, the coverage is still
Mm-hmm.
there. Wow,
It is, yeah.
that's hard. That's kind of hard to beat.
I know.
No wonder you said yes to Family Heritage. I mean, that's remarkable. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Well, Brittany, I had the opportunity to actually meet you in person before this podcast. That's kind of unusual. I don't usually have that opportunity to do that. I usually meet people after I've met them on here. But I can tell our listeners that I don't. When I met Brittany in person, that she's not a fake or pretend or phony. I only got to speak to you briefly, but even in that few minutes, I could tell whatever it was that you did that you had your passion about doing. I could tell in just those few moments that we actually got to meet. I didn't even know what products you offered. I just knew that you worked for Family Heritage Insurance.
Yeah.
But now I see why you're so passionate. Not only did your family experience some things now that you can relate to and help other people avoid? But also, it sounds like this company has got some great products for people that are possibly some of the most needy people of that product.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, self-employed or people that have insurance or don't, whatever it might be. If we don't have our income insured, it's something we really need to consider,
Yeah.
because it don't matter. It doesn't matter how nice of a home we have, or how nice our vehicles are. If something happens to our income, we can't pay for them. In today's world, with most banks and financial institutions, we're just numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it used to be way back when I was young. The banks were locally owned by people that were compassionate about other people, because they realized, what they're going through, my family may be going through next. So they would work with people when they had these financial problems and issues, so they didn't lose their home, they didn't lose their cars. It's not that way anymore. For the most part, we're numbers. And so if we don't have our income insured, it's something that we should all take very seriously, and look at closely. And Brittany, it sounds like you've got some good solutions to that problem. So kudos to you for what you do for other people, and kudos to your company for creating those type of products.
And I also always tell everyone, the way I do my business is the way I would hope someone would treat me.
Sure.
And
Understand.
I want everyone to know, and I tell them, when I sign you up on this coverage, you can call me or text me anytime. Because, we probably have some things that we've signed up for and we need help, and we only have a 1-800 number to call, and then we
Oh
get
yeah.
frustrated. And
Yeah.
I don't ever want it to be like that. I want
Yeah.
someone to feel like
Well, that's wonderful.
I treat every single person like they're my friend
Yeah, that's
or
wonderful.
family.
Because I tell you what's so frustrating now about a lot of these 800 numbers, they try their best to force you not to speak to somebody.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like, they try their best not to let you speak to somebody. It's like,
Uh-huh.
I get so frustrated, because I'm from the old school. I'm from the school when we talked to everybody.
Yeah.
We didn't talk to a computer.
Yeah.
So that's great, Brittany. Well, thank you so much. I want to give you an opportunity now to tell people, online or offline, if they want to learn more before they talk to you, or they want to contact you directly. Just give them all those different options if you don't care.
Yeah, so you can text or call me. My number is 803-414-4544. And I am on Facebook, just Bryttany Ditmar. My first name is spelled Bryttany. Last name is Ditmar. I'm also on Instagram. It's Bryttany_Ditmar_insurance. But yeah, any of those are good ways to contact me.
And see some, and if you're on Instagram, also get to see some good pictures, right? Now, do you
Right.
post pictures of you and your friends out dressed up, or do you just post mostly about the insurance?
I try to stick to just the insurance. That way, I'm being more informative and less, uh, I guess, I don't know. More informative is my goal on that one. But I will not lie to you. I do need to be better on posting on that Instagram. Marketing, I have learned, is not my level of expertise, but we're working on it. But there is
Well,
forms of contact on both of those social medias. Even my email is listed on there too.
absolutely. Well, the reason I was asking that, sometimes it helps us to be relatable to people when they actually kind of get to view us in our own natural essence, you might say. So,
Yeah, I've
but
got some claims posted on there to where you can see what people wrote into us after they
yeah,
filed a claim and how the policy helped them.
yeah,
I've got some stuff on there talking about how the benefits can help certain businesses, and some businesses that I've gone to that have given me permission to post behind the scenes stuff, because
yeah, awesome.
I've been
Yeah,
able to see all kinds of things. It's really cool. Anywhere from like a medical facility to like an off-roading facility.
yeah.
Um, so all over the place.
That's great. That's great. I love meeting new people, learning new things. So I'm glad you got that opportunity as well, Brittany. And
Thank you.
thanks for being with us today. We're so happy that you came on and talked to us, and I've learned a lot myself. So I appreciate you a lot, Brittany. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I enjoyed it.
It's our pleasure. And to all the good neighbors of the greater Chattanooga region, after meeting with Brittany and learning more about Family Heritage and what they offer there, I know that she hopes that you'll take a moment to consider your life, consider your situation. Whether you feel like you're, as the old saying, people used to say, insurance poor, even if you feel that way, just think it just a moment. How would you pay that insurance if you didn't have an income? How would you take care of your household, your family, the things you do have that maybe aren't paid for yet? How would you pay your taxes on your home? How would you take care of all of these things that we take care of their income if your income was gone? And consider what Bryttany does for people. And not many people give out their cell phone numbers. I'm just going to be honest with you. So just think about that for a moment. Not only the products she offered, but the service that she provides. And consider her and consider what she does when you're thinking about how do I insure my income. And before ending this episode, I would like to thank you all the listeners, for taking time out of your busy day to visit with us at the Good Neighbor Podcast. And always remember to support the locally owned and or operated businesses in the greater Chattanooga region, from Cleveland to Dalton, from Jasper to Benton, and everywhere in between. And thank you all for joining the Friends and I was fixing to say the Friends and Neighbors group. I'm with the Friends and Neighbors group. Thank you all for joining the Good Neighbor Podcast today. Everyone go out and make this a remarkable day.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpcleveland.com. That's gnpcleveland.com or call 423-380-1984.